Once upon a time, deep in the heart of the Whispering Woods, there lived a mean bear named Bruno. Bruno was known throughout the forest for his grumpy demeanor and sharp tongue. He seldom had a kind word for anyone, and often scared away the smaller animals with his loud roar. Despite his unfriendly nature, Bruno was a lonely bear. One particularly chilly autumn evening, as the sun began to set and cast a golden hue across the forest, Bruno lumbered back to his cave. He was grumbling about the falling leaves and the cold air, wishing he had someone to complain to. As he approached his cave, he noticed something unusual: a small, shivering bunny sitting right at the entrance. The bunny looked up with wide, frightened eyes, but didn't bolt away as most animals did when they saw Bruno. "What are you doing here?" Bruno growled, trying to appear even more intimidating. I got lost," stammered the bunny, her voice trembling. "It's too cold to find my way back home tonight." Bruno snorted, ready to send the bunny away with a harsh word, but something stopped him. Maybe it was the innocence in her eyes, or the way she was shivering uncontrollably. He sighed deeply. "Fine. You can stay here for tonight. But just for tonight," he grumbled. The bunny's face lit up with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Bear," she whispered. Bruno huffed and turned his back, leading the bunny into the warmth of his cave. As the night fell, Bruno prepared his usual grumpy self to sleep, but the bunny's presence was strange yet comforting. She huddled in a corner, looking so small and helpless. "What's your name, bunny?" Bruno asked, his voice softer than before. "I'm Bella," the bunny replied quietly. "Well, Bella, since you're here, let's get some sleep," Bruno said, lying down with a huff. Bella nodded, curling up in her own corner of the cave. As the night grew colder, the cave remained warm and cozy. For the first time in a long while, Bruno felt a sense of companionship. During the night, Bruno was awakened by soft whimpers. He looked over and saw Bella shivering in her sleep, clearly cold despite the relatively warm cave. Against his usual demeanor, Bruno carefully moved closer to Bella, wrapping his big, furry body around her to provide warmth. Bella instantly stopped shivering and snuggled closer. The next morning, Bella woke up to find Bruno still wrapped around her. She gently wriggled out, not wanting to disturb him. Bruno slowly opened his eyes and stretched, feeling surprisingly refreshed. "Good morning, Mr. Bear," Bella chirped. "Thank you for keeping me warm last night." Bruno grunted, feeling a strange warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with body heat. "You're welcome, little bunny," he said quietly. As the morning sun rose and warmed the forest, Bella prepared to leave. "I'm really grateful, Mr. Bear." "You're not as mean as everyone says," Bella said with a cheerful smile. "I'm glad you found me." Bruno, for the first time, felt a smile tug at the corners of his mouth. "Maybe I'm not," he admitted. "Take care of yourself, Bella." Bella nodded and hopped away into the forest, looking back once to wave. Bruno watched her go, a strange mix of happiness and melancholy filling his heart. As he walked around Whispering Woods, the other animals noticed a change in Bruno. He was still big and gruff, but there was a softness in his eyes and a warmth in his demeanor that hadn't been there before. From that day on, Whispering Woods wasn't as quiet and fearful as it used to be. And while Bruno still had his grumpy days, the forest knew that a mean bear could have a kind heart after all.